Hello, almost Shabbat Shalom. What a wonderful day here in the park. Uh, I can never remember these names of these parks. I don't know. I think it doesn't matter really. Oh, there's a butterfly. I think it doesn't matter. Hollywog, Hollywog Park. Yes, that's what it is. Hollywog Park. Well, there are a few geese here that I've encountered. Families, maybe just friends. They kind of got together at the last gambling sessions and decided to hang out because hey, bonding after losing some seeds. Anyway, so hello everyone. So it's almost Shabbat, and usually the almost Shabbat Shalom, as I like to refer to the blessing of the upcoming weekend, the feminine side, the feminine part of the week. I don't know if I talked about this a while ago, but I'll talk about the Shabbat. Shabbat is the seventh day, and is considered the feminine part of the week as far as creation. Where during the week is the doing, is action, is moving, stuff that is outside of us usually. And Sabbath, the Shabbat is the feminine, is where we are, yes, resting, but more than the resting is the rejuvenation for the next week. So everything is in a masculine and a feminine. We're talking about our relationship to ourselves and one another, our relationship to somebody else, our relationship to what is the harmony between the masculine and the feminine, not necessarily the balance. It's not necessarily 50-50, but it's the harmony. Sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 60-40, 70-30. And it's interesting. So this past week, if you've followed, I was actually to Mexico. That was kind of a funny happening. I was in the desert in San Diego, on the border, and I started filming, and there was a barbed wire that was on the ground, or like was stomped on by humans or by animals or whatever, but it was stomped on, and I didn't think much of it. It's just the next property around, you know. And I stepped into, and then I would see signs for the border patrol, and I realized, oh, I'm in Mexico. I should call some people, tell them, hey, there is an opening. But and then a second after I crossed back, I heard the border patrol bikes. I didn't know any of that until I came back. So this time, Rosh Hashanah and the equinox and the new moon, so many energies, so much of a bottlenecked energy that is released, and shifts are already not just in the air, but already down on the ground, so to speak, down in the field. And you've probably experienced them. You've probably experienced a period of chaos, in the past few weeks, and then the crescendo, and then Rosh Hashanah, and then the New Year, new moon, and everything, and now we're in the ride. Now we're starting the ride, and next week is going to be Yom Kippur. So these days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are called the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, the 10 days of Teshuvah, of returning, of 10 days of introvert, inside experience, going inside us, looking into us, looking into our ways, what we choose, what is serving us, what is not serving us. This is kind of like the window, the buffer in between the shift and the beginning of the shift. So there's like these 10 days of things that can change and things that can manifest and things we can create and bring into happening. And Yom Kippur is considered the atonement day, but there are two parts for that. There is the part of the atonement for the place, for God, things that maybe we felt that, oh, I haven't done enough, or I want to do more, or maybe we realized that we weren't blessing the food enough that we've been eating, or maybe we didn't appreciate the sun and the getting up in the morning, even if it's raining. The fact that we're breathing again every morning. And so these are times to look at everything and to create that shift. Like it's like in a car, I have the wheel, I have the gas pedal that just takes the car forward. If I have the gear and forward, and the wheel is really the wheel is really the direction that we're taking. So the gas is the wheel, and the direction is the steering wheel. So that's really these times now. And this portion of the week, portion of Vayelech, these are the absolutely last days of Moses. And what he's doing, there are two interesting things that are happening here. He's doing two things. First of all, it says, Vayelech Moshe. So Moshe went to all the tribes before he passed away. And he would tell them, just know that when you're going to go into Israel, I cannot come and go. Okay? So there are two things. He says, what do you mean? He is the leader. So he starts walking. He starts walking to the people instead of them coming to him. I mean, he's the leader of the people. So this is a teaching of the humbleness, the humility. Is like it doesn't matter if one can be a director or one can be a teacher. It is from the teacher who was like the student that I've learned. This is the teacher that is not only the teacher but also lives that which he is saying. So he's talking about humility. He's going to the people, to the tribes. He went to each tribe. He didn't call them before he's dying. Yeah, he actually went. And he told them, I can't go back and forth. What do you mean? I mean, you just, like in Israel, he said, what do you mean? We just saw that you were walking. In all the scriptures, it says that Moses, until his last minute, he was very clear. His eyes did not have what we call today cataracts. They were clear. He could see clear. It's called velo nas leicho, meaning his scent did not shift. His scent, the scent of our body, which is the scent of our soul, this is the essence of our soul, our scent, our smell, our individual smell, is actually what we take with us. That's our soul scent. So his scent did not alter, did not become old, so to speak. It was very. So what do you mean you're going out on your walk to say I won't be able to go and come back? So God tells Moses, listen, you're not going to, the people that you've led so greatly and are going now into Israel, you won't be able to go with them, right? And despite the fact that they're going to lose their ways into God and to be more earthly, and you cannot go with them. So what Moses said, he didn't say to the people, God did not allow me to go. Like, oh, I want to go, guys, but God did not allow me. I don't know, what can I do? And he said, no, I won't be able to do. I won't be able to go. I won't be able to be with you. It's going to be for Yoshua, right? The staff is passing on to Yoshua. But when this is what he's teaching, that when we internalize something, when we take a teaching or we respect somebody and somebody is giving us an advice or telling us something, instead of saying, oh, that person told me or that person said, it's internalizing. It's finding a way within us how to communicate something in a way that shows that it is my responsibility and not somebody else's saying that causes me to do that. It's as if I'm saying, well, I didn't really want to do that, but God made me do it, so I'm doing it. Rather than taking that and saying, this is my understanding, because this is how I see things, and I'm okay with that. So this is one thing. These are the two things about humility and about another aspect of humility, to take the responsibility on what we're doing. Now there is another aspect, but let me see first. Let's see what the comments are here. Exactly. So, hello, Gina. What are some of the? So you're, yeah, it's right. It's the teacher that goes down to the people. It's like in other portions during October, during July. Sorry, when we're talking about the teacher is in the field, actually goes down to the field. The God is actually on the field. This is the best teaching encouragement for students when the teacher actually is partaking in the students' experiences, where the teacher is actually partaking in the students' experiences and showing, hey, I'm doing the same thing that I'm standing here and teaching or sharing. You know, I've been to a big workshop this past week, and all the facilitators and all the teachers were of part of the experience. This is a showing of we're together. It's not creating a barrier, but it's creating cohesion. It's co-creation. So Gina is asking, what are the rituals, some of the rituals for Yom Kippur? Well, the traditional ritual is really all day in synagogue. All day in synagogue, and it's a time of repentance, times of seeing what I've done, maybe that is not serving me, what choices I made, and to be in that place. And so in the synagogue, there is a whole ceremony with prayers, but really the essence of it is, and there is a difference there is what's really critical in Yom Kippur. The critical point, there are two of those, right? There's always two. The one is the redemption between myself and God, mine and the world, mine and the creation. How am I with the creation? That Yom Kippur, the energy of Kippur can purify that, can bring it to a completion, can bring it to a healing. What Yom Kippur does not cover, the disclaimer, a small point, but it's not a small print, is the relationship between one to another. Is if one person or has something going on with another person, there is an argument, there was not good things, not good experiences, one person is upset with the other. Yom Kippur does not cover that. Yom Kippur energy is really about you or me or us going to the other person and having a conversation and resolving, coming to a resolution that will bring to peace and harmony between the people. Because if I have something going on with somebody and I'm just continuing with my day, it's like a dent in a car. It's like this is not going to go away. So go to that person and lelaben comes from to resolve the issue, but the lelaben, et habaya, is meaning make it white. So it makes it white. White is pure. Shana tova, Yafa. Shana tova v'gmar chatima tova. Thank you. So Yafa just gave me a blessing. Thank you, Yafa. And she says gmar chatima tova. So between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, these are the 10 days of atonement, if you will. And in Rosh Hashanah, which is the day where man was created, and Rosh Hashanah is the humanity scale of how are we with one another, how are we with ourselves, how are we making the right choices. So there is the blessing, may you be written in the book of life. Okay? May written in the book of life. Now, from Rosh Hashanah until Yom Kippur, the blessing changes. May this be a good ending for the writing in the book of life. So this is like the last push. So have a happy ending of the writing in the book of life. It's kind of a play on word, but it's really funny. There is every segment of our life, every segment of our journey has a different story. So every week and every time has a different approach to how are we telling the story. So thank you, Yafa, Shana Tova, and Shabbat Shalom too. So there is another point that I want to talk about in the portion, and talking about gather all people every 7 years. All the people, the leaders, everybody would gather, and there would be ceremonies. And so go, and there will be downloads from God. Go gather all the people, men, women, and babies. So the question is, I get men and women, but babies? I mean, what do you need the babies for? Or the small kids, the little kids? I mean, what do you need to gather them for too? And the sages are saying, and this is really interesting, that when we show how we are doing things that are meaningful to us, doing valuable things, when we show these to our children, it is more than just, oh, let's talk our children into good deeds, but we're actually showing this to our children. Then children grow up with what parents did. I remember, for example, when I would grow up, my parents doing the kiddush every Shabbat, the blessing on the wine. Those are things that are, you could say, tradition. You could say also meaningful things, because everybody else has a different tradition. It's just about the family. It's about the family connection and the family unity. So it's teaching the value of children, and then going more into detail on really how are you dealing with children. I mean, in our new generation or teenagers, if they are not approving or rebelling or going, the instinct in the old days would be to act with them with tough love, and let's keep them intact. But this is actually the most damaging way to communicate with our children, despite what they're doing, and they're teenagers and they think they're invincible and everything is there. Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. They're big, and that is their learning curve. If we take care of for them, and if we do for them, and we give them a greenhouse, they grow without the tools to handle situations on their own when they grow up, when they leave the nest. It goes from a very young age. What do we show our children? Do we give them the fish, or do we teach them how to fish so they can get their own fish? And it's not from, oh, I don't love my child, my kids, so I'm not going to give them. No, it is thinking about giving them, but for the long run, because we as parents are not going to be always there for them to manage and to get what they need. So how are we, and what are we passing on to our children? So that's why I say, bring your children to all these ceremonies, because they will benefit through their parents. They will get the benefit of the value of coming to spiritual teaching or coming to something that you do with the family. They will see the unity, they will see, and they will start valuing it from a very young age. Let me read a little bit more. Shabbat Shalom, Yafa. Gina asks, specific foods. Actually, Yom Kippur is a day of fasting. So, and it is known that when we fast, our spiritual presence is greater. Why? Because we're lighter. We're not grounded down. We're not pulled down by the food. So, as in every Jewish holiday, and I believe how it should be, regardless, because this is how the world started. It starts from the evening before, from the sunset of the night before. So the sunset of the evening before is the Erev Yom Kippur. That's where we are having a big dinner. Many times we say no so big dinner. I like to have something in the morning and in the afternoon, and then a little bit before dinner, just so the stomach doesn't expand with a big meal and then actually asks to contract faster. So it gives the feeling that we need more food. But it starts from the evening before until the evening after until the next day. So it's 24 hours of fasting. And during that fasting, being immersed in teachings or in understandings, or what did we go through, or any things that we want to resolve with other people. This is a great time. And when we are in that energy of the divine, when we're in that frequency, one leads to the other, one leads to the other. It grows and it grows and it grows. So these 10 Teshuvah days are the leading up towards Yom Kippur, towards the Atonement Day, and and that's it. So it is really how are we handling? How are we handling? Do you have any relationship with others that maybe need to be amended, maybe need to be attended to? Maybe there is something that we said, I'm not just going to let it go. I'm not going to see that person again. You may go to a class or an event, and there's always going to be one person that's not going to gel with your energy. That person may be feeling the same thing, but there's always going to be at least one person. The question is, you can leave that event because, hey, I'm not going to see that person again. What do I care? Or you can take that challenge of that is a trigger. That person who doesn't gel with you is a trigger for you. Is a trigger that triggers something in you that you are not comfortable with. And most likely, if you check, you'll see that trigger is a representation of some percentage in you, in that person. So is there somebody like this? Maybe a reconciliation will be in place, will be appropriate for you, for your community, and for the rest of the world. And how are we with our children? What do we show our children? How do we talk to our kids? This is a different generation, you know. How do we talk to our children? Do we stay with our own justified belief, or you know, we flow and we see how we can shift, because really we are shifting our perception. When we shift our perception, our gamut of looking at things just grows, and our kids stay with us instead of taking off. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here. And it's sunny. Shabbat Shalom.